I think we're on.
Are we? He said one. There. Now we're live.
Oh.
Okay.
Now we're on.
Welcome to Fridays with SLC. Today is a super exciting day. We've got lots and lots of fun stuff happening. First of all, we have live guests here at our video today. So we've got Carmen and Jason, who came all the way from Wichita, Kansas to say hey, and they were going to be on Friday. So they're sitting behind the camera over here. So hopefully they'll make some noise every once in a while for us. There we go.
Great.
Yes. But second of all, it is a big day here at SLC. For those of you who have been with us for a long time, or for those of you that are new, if you've really ever spent any time reading our catalog or going over any of our written materials, chances are you have read something that has been written by our lovely Darcy Grisham, who has worked here for 20 years today. So today is her 20th anniversary at SLC, which is super amazing because we've only been around for like 21 years. So she's pretty much been here the whole time. Darcy is she is a gem, and we love having her. It would not be SLC without that fine lady. And so for everybody on the chats, I know she comments, I know she's watching, so shoot her a little love for her 20th anniversary today. So, gotta get that out of the way.
Happy anniversary, Darcy.
So Denny, what are you doing today?
We're going to do some geometric carving, or not carving, but stamping. Actually, when I first started this, they didn't call it carving, they just called it stamping.
Oh, so back in the 70s it was stamping?
Yeah, everything was stamping.
Okay.
You know, because they figured when they were carving, they were removing material, like when you're wood carving.
Oh, okay.
And they don't do that with leather. They
stamp it.
They cut, but then they stamp everything.
Sure.
But anyway, we're going to do some geometric stamping, and we're going to do some like basket weaves and check stamps and stuff out in a field, but we're also going to do some, I'm going to show you some different borders, Meander borders and whatnot.
We should have brought in your guitar case.
Oh, yes, we could have.
Tony, we have a running job for you.
Well, stay on camera one for a while and I'll go get it.
So yeah, so we're going to do some backgrounding. Denny's done, for those of you that have come into the showroom or been with us for a while, like, I don't know how many years ago, 3-4 years now. You did a completely tooled guitar case.
Yeah, it's been probably 4 years ago.
Yeah. And on a lot of it, he did some oak leaf floral, some kind of oak leaf floral. But then on the back, I think he got tired of carving oak leaf floral, and so he decided to fill it in with just a really nice background.
Well, I figured it's the back. You know? It doesn't all have to be complete floral, so.
But anyways, Tony's
But actually, I like the back better than I do the front.
It's pretty neat.
Yeah.
And especially, we're going to do some small samples for you today, but man, when you've got a nice big section and you've got like a pretty cool geometric or a basket weave stamp, just to really, like, just the lines look really good, when you can get them all nice and straight, which I can't even do on a knife sheath that's like 2 inches wide. Somehow I still have a curve in my line, but it just looks really impressive. So
it does. It's easy to fool people like that, you know. But anyway, I guess I can't start doing this till Tony gets back, because.
So let's see here. We can just get some stuff going. It looks like we had to scoot you down, so all of your stuff is at the end.
Yeah, I made a few samples here because I wanted to remember what I was wanting to show you guys.
Tony's fast. He's a fast runner.
Yeah.
Wrong side.
You want you to stand up like that?
Thanks. Yeah, so we'll just get a little bit of light on there. So I guess he did do some tooling in the middle there. But we've got just this basket weave, just this, I would say this is the most unoriginal basket weave because it's the most like an actual basket weave stamp that we've probably.
It's a very rustic. It's very easy to use.
Yeah, but we've got that whole. Guys, I don't know if you haven't seen this guitar case, it's amazing. Look at that. I love it. Oh, and there's some meandering. Oh, goodness. It's heavy, too, guys.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, the borders. I'd forgotten I did some meander borders.
And he hand sewed this whole thing because he could not machine stitch it. It was impossible. Anyways.
Yeah, I counted them. There's like 2,800 stitches.
2,800
Yes,
stitches.
there are.
His fingers were bleeding. Like, legitimately. He had, like, them all wrapped up by, like, a few days in. Anyways. Okay.
Okay.
Here we go.
Let's start out here. If Tony can switch us to the camera where they can kind of see what I'm doing. Let's do it. Just a rectangular piece. I'm just going to quick case this with a little water and just spritz it a little bit. One of the main tools that you're going to use will be a pair of wing dividers. And I'm just going to set myself a border around here.
About yay.
Yeah, whatever your project calls for.
It's the Denny eyeball border.
Yeah, this is an eyeball border. That's not a very good piece, but we'll do it anyway. And I'm let's start with the stamp that we just showed you on that guitar case. This is just
what tool is that?
A square basket weave. It is X507 in our catalog. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to scribe very lightly a diagonal line across this piece. A lot of people want to go straight across like this. I find that kind of unattractive because if you're not perfect when you get to the edge, you don't have a straight line there. You generally have a diagonal line. So start out on a diagonal and it doesn't matter. But anyway, you know what I forgot?
Oh, there's a mallet behind you.
Yeah, we'll just use the mallet.
We'll just throw it on the floor. Yeah, typically Denny uses a maul when he's doing this, but he forgot it.
A 15-ounce Ed LeVar.
Yeah. But anyway, I'm going to start here, and I'm just going to start over against one edge. When I do this, I don't want to stamp right against the border, so I'm going to tip this stamp some. I don't know if you can see what I'm doing there, but I'm not holding the stamp up straight. I've got it tipped.
Well, let's see what that did when you stamped it. So you don't have a complete stamp. So there's like one really good side, and then it kind of tapers off. And
it doesn't actually touch the border.
Right.
And that's what I'm going after. But anyway, this stamp, you have to turn it 90 degrees after each stroke. So I'm going to turn this 90 degrees, go right next to it. Thank you, Tony.
You're welcome.
And the important part on this, to keep your line straight, this one line, light line that you've drawn is what you want to be very careful on this first course and follow that line as exact as you can.
Because that sets up all of your other lines.
Right, it sets it all up completely for the whole rest of your project. But I'm just going to turn 90 degrees every time.
You really got to focus on this one, because if you don't turn it, you have to start over again.
Yeah. But I'm going to show you here in a minute where you don't have to turn it every time. But that's to be seen later. I don't know if you can all see me turning it, but I am.
We can
Here I am. I'm back over that other side, and I'm in good shape. I can make a full stamp here. But now I'm going to turn my tool again, but I'm going to tip it. That way I don't get into that border again. Okay, now I'm just going to go above. I just go above each stroke that I made before on the opposite direction. Notice how I tipped the tool again? Okay. Now I told you don't have to turn it every time. I just made that with the lines vertical. Now I can step up to this one before that, up above, and I didn't have to turn it. So I'm just going to stair step now. But I don't have to turn it when I go up above and to the side of what I had just done. And I'm just going to do 1/2 of this piece that I've got. because you guys will get bored if I sit and stamp the whole thing.
It'll be like our braiding video last week.
Yeah. But you all, if you've never done this before, you think tipping the tool is a bunch of malarkey, but it's not, because when you go to try and finish this up, you will understand exactly why you need to stay away from that border line.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna, when I get over there this time, I'm not gonna do that, just so you will see.
Okay.
You see how I went off that border?
So we'll have one mistake on this one, on purpose.
Yeah. This time it was on purpose.
I know we've gotten several questions about how do I, finalize my basket weaving, or how do I finish it out on the edge? And we're going to show you how to do that.
We're going to show you. It's a very simple deal. We're going to use the camouflage tool. And that tool was actually named a camouflage because its job is to camouflage that outside edge. And I don't know if that's true or not. I just made that up. But that's what it does.
We're going to assume.
And we're about to that point. All right.
Look at that.
Let's say we're done there. Now, Liz, pick out a camouflage tool.
Let's see here. Oh, we kind of need a bigger one. This is a pretty, I think that one actually might be pretty similar to one you'll get in, like, if you buy, like, the 7-piece or the 9-piece starting set.
Yeah, this is a C432.
Okay.
And it's a pretty nice little stamp. I like it. But I'm going to go right in the corner, right against my line. And I'm going to, and if you'll notice, I'm being pretty deliberate about this. I'm not babying this. I'm giving it a pretty good lick. But I go, a lot of people will go side by side. You know, they will back up against this, but I like to actually cover the toe of the last stamp with the heel of the one that I'm using, so I go right in that last impression.
Yeah, I like it because then it creates just those little arches as you go, and you don't have a break between them. So that's how I like to do it too.
Now then, people are always concerned, how am I going to come right out right on the other end? Well, I've gone 4 licks here. I'm going to start on the other side and go back towards it a couple. Let me go one more here. Now I'm just going to take my tool and make a slight impression, just enough so I can see it. And I'm going to go all the way across and see where I end up here. All right, if I do what I've been doing, I'm going to be a little bit short right there. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to fudge just a little bit on all the rest of these. I don't want to take up my slack all at one time. I want to spread that out.
Boom.
See there how I came out right on the money?
Perfect.
But anyway, okay, now let's go the other way. And I'm going to go across that mistake that I intentionally did. And you'll see why that's not a desirable thing to do.
You know, I always thought I was being a little bit silly for always double tapping my stamps, but that seems like that's what you do.
Well, and that brings up something else. The old timers used to call this a set stamp because they would set it and then they would stamp it.
Okay.
So set and then stamp.
So that's
Set it and forget it. But anyway, there we go. That's that one piece that we've started. Let's do a different type of a stamp here now. What should I do now, Liz?
I don't know. Why don't you do that big fan? He's kind of cool.
Oh, yeah, the shell stamp?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is it not a fan?
Well,
It looks like a fan.
yeah, you can call it a fan, a shell. You name it whatever you want to name it. Okay, here again, I'm going to follow this same line that we started with before. And this is a big stamp, so I'm going to have to really tip it here on this first one. But I'm going to use this as my
Slide this way a little bit.
my reference point. Like
Just
that.
yeah, your stamp. There we go.
Okay. But anyway, I'm going to use this corner as these two corners as my reference point. So I'm going to go right against that other one. This one I can hit horizontally completely down. And this stamp has it's a big wide stamp with a lot of bearing surface. So you really need to put some pressure on it. Stamp it.
Give it a good lick.
Yeah, a good lick. But it's a neat stamp. I like it when you do it just one row. It doesn't look like all that much, but now we're going to get to see what it's going to look like.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Denny, is this one that we sell, or is this a fancy tool?
This is one we sell. This is a real old one that I've had for a long time. This is it's called a basic tool, made by the Basic Tool Company. But we sell this same stamp today that we have made.
When he's done, we'll get you a number.
I don't think I wrote it down.
It's not on the tool. Don't have a catalog.
21.
It's the Basic 21.
I don't know. But we do sell this tool.
Do we? I'm gonna find it. It looks like one that's in the bin.
I know we sell it.
Well, we will figure that out, guys.
Anyway, back to our rat killing here. And this last impression that I made right here wasn't too deep, so I'm going to go back over it again. And the reason it's not too deep is because of that big butcher cut underneath.
Yep.
So anyway.
Denny grabbed only the best pieces for his examples.
Only the best. And it's the one I grabbed first, too. All right. We've got that done. Now, what kind of a border do we want?
I feel like we need something kind of large.
Pretty good size.
Yeah.
Let's try this. This is a new tool we've got. And it's probably not in our catalog.
G876.
Yes, and this is really a nice tool. I like it. First time I saw it, I thought, why haven't we had this all along? But I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to put the toe of this stamp right into the heel of my last impression. I'm going to go to this other corner here. And I'm going to make a light impression here and see where I end up. I'm going to spread it out just a bit. I really wish you would have picked me a better piece of leather.
I wish I did too. I mean, you have a whole stack over there. I don't.
But I already started this. Okay, now let's go the other way.
Did we show everybody your little miss stamp up close?
Probably not.
I don't think we'll do that.
Yeah.
Denny, whenever you come to a corner thing, do you ever sometimes find like a different fun tool to do like a corner one?
You sure can. I usually don't. You know, it just depends on what you're doing.
Yeah. Sometimes on a knife sheath, if I'm coming down to a pretty severe corner, like a point, I'll like to use just like, I don't know, one of the narrow kind of camo tools or something when I come to a corner.
Something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. Just kind of make it.
But anyway, Tony, if you can give us a close-up here.
Yeah, so let's see. So we've got, there we go. So this right here is that little guy. So if you do stamp outside of your border line or just even right up to it, you'll get lines inside that camo. Like inside that little, like each of the little arches that go through. And really it looks the best when those are nice and clean and crisp.
Right.
So yeah, avoiding stamping, you know, right up to the line is usually a good idea.
Yeah, and different border tools will give you a different effect too. Like the tool that we just used, where did I put that?
This one?
No.
The one on your table?
No.
No.
That other one, this one.
The big one? Oh, it's on the table too. Oh, no, it's not. It's right here.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, like this tool, Tony, I need you again. This tool is actually concave on the inside corner. And if you look at this tool, it's flat. So you can, when you lay it on your leather, you can cover up any marks right up to your border.
Sure.
You know, this concave one, if you've got some little marks, even here, you can see this. And if you get real particular and real picky, you know, you want to avoid that.
Oh, I have a question. Do you ever cut in your border line with your swivel knife?
Yes,
okay.
And I was going to talk about that a little later too. Especially
I'll stop asking questions.
Especially on the Meander border that I'm going to show you. A lot of times I will swivel knife cut it. But another little trick that you can use to make this show up better, and Tony, okay. Okay, I haven't changed my dividers from the original border, so I'm just going to use it. But I'm going to go back over that border line and define that again. Because when you stamp, even if you're perfect, you will still
kind of stamp into the line a little bit.
Make your border disappear.
Yeah.
But this actually defines that border and makes it look like it was intentional.
Does that hold as well as a swivel knife cut will?
Yeah. When, you know, leather, remember, it's like clay. When it's damp, you know, whatever impression you make in it, is gonna remember that forever. But anyway, we've got that little deal done. Let's start something else. What do we want to do? Oh, how about a tri-weave? Everybody loves a tri-weave.
Those are a good one.
And the moisture content in your piece of leather has a lot to do with how your stamp turns out too. So when we're doing this, I wet it and I'm not giving it time to really temper very much. So if you'll notice, the further along, the lighter colored that the leather gets, the better impression that it's going to take, to a point.
Yeah, because the moisture is soaking through all the way down, so it really allows all those fibers down underneath to accept that stamp.
Right, and the top isn't so mushy as it is immediately after you wet it.
Yeah. So Denny's showing you what to not do.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Mike, do we still need to tape the back of the leather?
Sure. Sure, I'm not doing that here because, you know, I've got so many little pieces. But if you're doing, especially on a light type leather, you definitely want to tape it because this type of leather, you're moving a lot of leather and you'll make it spread really bad. So you want to avoid that by using some tape.
I remember, I think it was my first couple months here and I was working out on retail and I had a gentleman come in that was making holsters and he was lining them. And he had cut out both of his parts already. And he was pretty new to it. And he had tooled the whole front of it. And by the time he got done, it was quite a bit larger than his back piece of his lining leather. And so he came in and he was like, oh, Liz, what do I do? And at that point, I didn't know. So I don't know if I came and talked to you or I talked to Kevin. Kevin was like, yes, tape. And I was like, oh, that's good to know.
Yeah.
That's good to know.
People think you do that just because you're finicky, but there's a reason.
Leather stretches.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like I say, especially lightweight leather. If you're like working on saddle skirting, 13 to 16 ounce saddle skirting, it doesn't spread nearly as bad, but it still will spread.
Yeah.
Especially with a set stamp like we're using today, you know, because
Yeah, when you do the whole surface.
yeah, when you're really hammering on that stuff, you know, you're actually compressing the leather, and it's when you compress it, it's got to go somewhere.
Yeah.
So it goes away. All right, I've made another diagonal line just like I did on that first piece, and I don't have any cuts on the back of this one.
So this should turn out just fine.
Should
be okay.
Yes. And here again, when you get next to that border, you need to tip the tool, which I didn't do.
You got it right up on that border a little bit.
But that's all right, because I'm going to use this other
We're going to use one that's
stamp
full.
with a flat
Okay.
surface, and I'll show you how that will work out. But you've actually got 3 points of reference here. So this tool, you've got to line that up. I don't even know why I made a line there, because you can't follow a line with this tool. I was getting ahead of myself. But I'm just going back to back on this. And you want to keep it as straight as possible. But you can't really follow a line the way I'm doing it.
So just ignore that line.
Just ignore it. Pretend like I didn't do that. These guys are saying I'm going back to Wichita.
That's great. We're having fun.
Okay, now I tipped it a little bit there. But now I'm just going on the side. See these little indentions that you just go back to back with. But every time you make a line, you've got to line up the other direction.
Yep, you got those 2 points. You have to line up both of those arches.
Right. But they fit right into each other. And there again, you know, be careful and just line them up the very best you can. Because if you get off on one and continue that same scenario all the way through, you're going to get offer and offer and offer.
And that's a word.
Yes, that's a new word.
Denny, we've got Katarina wants us to show how to stamp on a circle or a curve. Next piece of leather has a curve on it, so we'll use that for our next example.
We will do that. Okay, now I'm going to go the other direction here so we don't end up having to do this whole piece. But this is a pretty neat stamp, but most people are afraid of it because they say, I can't keep it lined up. That first course is the one that will mess you up every time.
Sometimes when I start out with these, I'll kind of go in like this array of stamping. And I don't know if that's better or worse.
Well,
like instead of doing a line, I'll just blotch it out.
Yeah, just start going in circles, kind of. There's nothing wrong with that if you can keep your reference points right on every one.
I've got this big. This thing is huge. It's a very Celtic knot, and I got it a couple years ago at the show. And that was a lot of fun. But it's hard to find a knife sheath field that's big enough for me to use it.
Yeah. Okay, that's as far as we need to go there on that. But let's use a different...
Are you sure you don't want to put one right there?
Okay.
Okay.
You didn't see it. It was making her gritter.
My job here is to criticize.
Is that okay?
That's perfect. I'll accept that.
All right.
I do think... Never mind.
What do you think?
I was gonna say you could put another light one just right up in that little corner,
Let's see.
We don't have to be that particular.
If our border tool will cover that.
Okay.
Let's just start right here with this border tool, and this is the one that's flat across the bottom. Rule of thumb generally is you can cover about half of the tool width with your camouflage. How'd that work out?
Yeah, I suppose that's okay.
Wow.
That's
Okay.
a cute little border tool.
That is nice. It's
I
a
like
nice
it.
border.
It is.
I've got another one that's a Gomf Hackbarth, which is real similar to this. This is a G603, and the Hackbarth is about half this size. And
Oh, wow.
It's really a neat little tool, but I didn't bring it because we don't sell it. So
That's a good idea.
all right, here we go. Well, let's go around the curve here. Yeah, this one. We do exactly the same thing. Let me make this border a bit smaller because this is a small piece.
What do you want to do with a curve?
Pick out whatever stamp you want me to use on this.
I feel like with the small.
Why don't we do one of these fun ones?
That's a
You
border
think?
tool.
Well,
That's
then
a
never
border-
mind. We won't do one of those.
Yeah. Let's do this. This is really cool. This is
Okay.
another new stamp.
Oh, yeah.
I would call this a 3-bar pin stamp.
Okay.
Don't know what it's called.
That's what we'll call it.
But this is an X581. And it's I need to make them wine.
So anything particular? Once again, we're kind of going to start in, I guess, just anywhere.
Start at an angle. If you're doing two pieces that oppose each other, you know, like a front and back of a book cover or something like that, you want to make the same angle
Sure.
on them. But since we're only doing one side of this, it really doesn't matter. But this is another one that you have to turn every time. But it's got 4 little pins here,
Tony,
and that makes it real simple to use.
that way.
Where this way,
There it
there. Yeah, see, there's a little pin on each corner, and they make an impression on the leather every time you stamp it. So all you've got to do is set those 2 outside pins in that old hole. But remember to turn your tool every time.
Yep.
I really like the impression the tool makes. It has almost like a wicker basket look to it when you get the field stamped.
I mean, once again, when you're going around that curve, you just kind of, like, as you come up to the line, you're just going to tip the tool and tip the tool.
Yeah, just remember to tip that tool. That's all there is to it.
Yeah. I'm trying to think, I guess with the meander, like, once we get into the meander border, Denny, that could kind of get a little bit tricky around the curve.
Yes, but we'll do it here next. That's what we'll start on, is the meander borders. And we'll do it on a curve. I tried to cut some pieces that had curves in them and angles, and some kind of 45-degree angles, you know, so that they would be similar to the things that people are exposing themselves to.
All the weird things that we make.
Yeah.
Denny, somebody wants to know about starting an hourglass stamp.
I would say that
like
is
that one?
what I would call an axe.
Okay. There we go.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you just
And-
rotate that.
Yeah, I'll do that on the other side of this. It's a pretty
Awesome.
big stamp, so you won't show up a lot on this small piece of leather, but it'll be enough where you'll get the idea.
Really, and that's another one that you wouldn't really make a line for, I suppose.
I do.
You do.
Yeah, it doesn't always work out, but I try. It's another one that's hard to get started in a straight line, but it's very important to start it in a straight line because it's one that you'll start to get off. Once you get off, it's almost impossible to get back on track without it showing quite a bit.
Okay, so then we've got some people asking about how we're overlapping it. So like Denny said, on the corners of each, on this tool, there are these little squares on the corner of the tool. And so basically you just put those back into the last tool that you stamped as long as you're rotating it.
Right, there's a pin right here, right here, right here, and right there. And if you look at the stamp itself.
Sorry, this camera over here, Denny.
You can see those pins. See those pinholes? I'll take my stamp and set it right there in that last pinhole. You see, now I've got actually 3. There's 1, 2, 3 that I can match up.
It's really a pretty easy tool to use.
It's the simplest tool there is to use because of those pins. I mean,
yeah.
If you match those pins up, there's no way to get off.
You're good. Just keep on going.
Okay. But anyway, I'm not going to show you any more of this little stamp. But let's do this this hourglass stamp, I guess is what she called it. But here I'm going to start off on this line, but I'm going to tip my tool because I'm right against that. This one you've also got to turn 90 degrees, but this little edge here has to fit into that edge.
So this is going to overlap our last tooling a little bit, but
yeah,
it is what it is. That way. There it is.
Yeah. What we're
These cameras are fun.
Right there. Yeah. They're if you're dyslexic, you got to be double dyslexic. But anyway, I turned my tool 90 degrees. But see, now I'm going to try and match that line again.
Oh, right.
And this is a tool where I would ordinarily use a larger ball than I'm using now because it's a great big tool. Displaces a lot of leather.
Yeah, it's just like when you're trying to cut out those oblong punches. You got to have a really heavy mallet to drive it through the leather. You got a lot of surface area.
Now I'm just going to go on top, opposite of everything that you do below. And everyone's just 90 degrees away from each other. You can cover a lot of ground with this, though.
Yeah. Quick backgrounding.
Yeah.
Yeah, the fact that there's a curve on there, it doesn't really make too much of a difference when you're doing your background. I mean, it might make you play with your, your camouflage tool slightly, but I mean, it'll just overlap the tip of it more.
The thing is, when you're going around a curve and you're using a tool with straight lines on it or 2 points, the shortest distance between 2 points is always a straight line. So every time you're going around a curve, you have a little flat spot there.
Well, and so for going around a curve, we might recommend that you don't use a camo tool that has a flat line bottom.
Right.
That you use one with just the 2 points because then you can position the 2 points on your line as you go.
Right.
So you don't have that flat line.
But still, I mean, unless you're using a really big camouflage tool, you won't notice those flat spots anyway.
Sure.
I mean, let's start with this one. This has a flat bottom to it.
Mm-hmm.
But let's start on this curve, and you'll see what I mean. All right, we're on the curve now, and you really aren't going to see that. And that's another thing, when if you go back over this border line with your wing dividers again, it will even make it less visible.
Yeah.
See, you don't see that flat spot, but let's go over it with this, and it'll even make it.
We'll even all that out.
Yeah, it'll make it look like it's supposed to be that way.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Yeah.
I like that big one.
Yeah, that is a nice stamp. It's a very nice stamp. All right. Let's do a Meander Border.
Okay. I like it.
And let's
Andrea asked if you were going to dye the leather, do you stamp first or after applying the dye? Definitely first.
Definitely first.
Definitely
Yeah.
first.
Definitely first. Okay.
Let's see here. Molly asked, how about stamping around a center object like a name or a brand?
You can do it. The hard part is making everything match down at the bottom. Going around is no problem.
Because you basically, it's just another border.
Yeah.
Or you could kind of come up.
Yeah.
When
you're going around, like if I had like a spot right here in the center that I was stamping around, I'd be fine till I got right here.
When everything's coming back together.
Yeah. And that's really, really hard. I hate to do that. You know, I really do. A lot of times I'll take a camouflage tool or something and stamp over wherever that meets up, because it's hard to make them match.
Oh, so you put like a seam in your stamp.
Put a seam in it.
Oh, okay.
And you can do that top and bottom to make it look intentional if you want to. But if you can play things right and get whatever it is down at the bottom,
it makes it easier.
Yeah, then you can go around and just end up here, you know, in your basket. Your camouflage tool will take care of that. But
so you got to really pay attention when you're doing that.
When you're going around something, all you can do is use a straight edge, but with every course, and make sure you go the same distance out with each stamp, because it's difficult.
You might even test it first to get how many stamps you got to do.
Yeah.
On whatever piece you've got.
Okay. This is about the simplest Meander Border tool that we carried that I've used. So what I'm going to do
So what tool is that, Denny?
This is a D447S.
Okay.
So what I'm going to do to get my inner line, I'm just going to make a slight impression here.
We'll pick it up in a second.
And then I'm going to go up here backwards and make an impression there so I can see about how far away I am.
So how are you estimating that, Denny?
Well,
Tony, I moved it.
Okay, let's do this. Just say, I'm just making, this is a slight impression of it. Right? Okay, I'm going to make one more slight impression.
And then you just butt up the tool. Okay.
This tool, you just butt.
Okay.
Yeah, toe to heel. But now I'm going to go up above and turn this upside down. And ideally, you want about the same amount of distance, void space here on the sides as you do at the bottom. So, and that's pretty good there.
Yeah.
So I'm going to use that for a border.
So Denny's gotten pretty good at eyeballing this over the years, but it's definitely good to kind of test it out on a sample piece before you really get going, so that you make sure that it's what you're looking for.
Yes. But we've done this, a sample piece.
Yeah, exactly. We tried it out first.
So now I'm going to make this other line right here.
Nope.
No. Thank you. This is live, folks. They didn't know that.
Yeah, don't just hit it off the edge again, because then it'll be too close, because you're going off of your other border line. There we go.
Okay. Now the trick to a meander border, most people will think they'll start here and do this line, but you shouldn't. You should start on this inside line.
Ah.
Start right at the corner. Like we said, you just want to go back to back on these. I'm going to start over here.
Do the same thing.
And plot this out and make sure I end up about right.
Man, I tell you what, if you're doing a big project, this plotting can be tricky. Although maybe when it's a big project, it's not as important that it's as precise.
Yeah. Okay. Now we've got that line.
Okay.
Now we're going to just go around the corner and be sure you match your corners just as you can. See, and I'm going to spread these apart, make them kind of tight. Now you can kind of see that there. I should have spaced it. I should have started spacing them out a little bit before, but it'll work out all right.
We're always our worst critic. Probably nobody else is going to see that.
Right.
Unless you show it to a leather crafter that's...
Yeah. Well, when it's all said and done, you know, you're looking at, right now you're looking at a very small picture when you're doing this.
Right.
But after it's done, you're looking at the big picture and you don't notice a lot of those little minor differences. I can't say mistakes. There were differences.
So Andrea asked, once you've stamped the pattern to the leather, does it stay as deep as where you stamped it?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
There again, moisture content is very important. When it's real wet, it'll want to kind of swell back out a bit.
Okay.
So this is perfect. Notice how it was dark, but now it's starting to lighten back up to almost original color.
That means your water has went all the way through, and so now you have this nice moisture content throughout the entire thing, which allows you to compact that section, and it'll stay well for you.
Right. Okay. Now I've got this inside row done. Now I'm going to turn my tool upside down, and I'm just going to go to my border line and match that up perfect.
You're starting on the inside.
Yeah, you see what I've got there?
Mm-hmm.
Before I was matching the heel and toe of my tool. Now I'm just matching this space that I've got here that I'm trying to maintain. And this is that small part that I was telling you about. The differences.
Right, because it's more important that you keep it centered in how much of a room you do have.
Right.
Then make sure they're all lined up exactly heel to heel.
Right. Okay.
Look at that. I love a good meander.
Yeah, I do too.
I got a really fancy one from Bob Beard.
Oh, did you?
I did. It's a pretty cool stamp. I think I've only used it maybe twice in like the 2 years that I've had it, but it's a pretty fancy Meander border.
Okay, now this, when you're doing this, you can, a lot of times it will really help you have a better look if you do cut your borders and bevel them. But I'm not going to do it on this.
Okay.
Maybe the next one that I do here, I will. Okay, now I ended up right here. So I'm going to go one more space on this outside. I'm going to do the same thing over here. And see what I ended up with. Looks like a little frog.
It does. I was thinking, what is a spade? Like the card spade? Yeah.
But that's why you want to start on the inside on the inside line instead of the outside line. Because the outside line, you can never match up with the inside line.
Yeah, it always comes out awkward.
Yeah.
That is a good hint. Yeah, because I always want to start in that far outside corner.
Right.
So all the way, and it never works.
Right.
I learned something today.
See, now there's our little frog again. But that's the way it works all the way around.
Well, and so in that little frog, you could do like what I was talking about and use one of those fun kind of camo or explosion stamps and put a little something there if you want.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or you can leave it plain. Whatever you want to do. Because it's your project.
Yeah, I mean, there are so many, with these geometric type stamps, there are so many options, you know, that you have. Somebody says, well, yeah, my buddy does that, but this is what they do. Well, sure.
Sure.
I can do that too. You know? Or they can do what I do.
Let's see here. So Dave and Billy said that one of his favorite looks is a double beaded border and then stamping.
Bead line?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I like that too.
Mm-hmm. I do that a lot on a lot of this stuff that I do.
Let's see here. Denny, this other Denny, with an I instead of an E, would like to know if the Meander tool would work on a curve.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'll show you here in a minute. We'll do it.
I think. No. I was going to say, you have a lot of meanders on that guitar case, but they're all straight lines that are then curved onto a case.
Yeah. Well, now I'm just taking my my wing dividers and going over that border again, defining those lines. Because if you'll notice, you can see the heel and toe of this tool everywhere. But if you do this, it kind of gets rid of that. But that's also another reason why if you cut, you can bevel this border after you get it all your tool sets done. But you can bevel those lines out. But that doesn't look too bad at all, just like it is.
That looks pretty good.
Okay, let's go around the curves.
Okay.
Well, Mike had something for your frog there, Denny.
Put a cedar in the head of that frog. Give us some eyeballs. I don't.
Cedar here, I don't think.
Mike, we didn't bring a cedar.
Use the end of your stylus.
Yes. Let's see what happens here.
We're just determined to make it fill that space.
Yeah, the frog needs to jump.
There we go. He's done.
Mike, are you happy?
It's got some seeds on it.
All right. Now let's go around this curve with over the meander.
Let's see here. David asked if a maul versus a mallet, if there's one that's better.
No, one's not better. It's just whatever you feel comfortable using. I always use a maul for the most part, but Kevin never uses a maul.
No.
He comes over to my bench and says, "If you got a beveler I could use, yeah. Where's your mallet?" And I hand him the maul, and he says, "But he'll use it, you know." But he's so used to using a mallet, that's what he uses. And Kevin's a very good stamper.
He sure does make that bird real fast.
Yeah. All right. Here, this is what most people wouldn't consider a meander tool, but it makes a really neat meander.
Okay.
And let's try it around the curve.
What tool is that?
This is a F926H.
Okay.
And it's got a really long flat side. So we should really be able to see what happens on a curve.
Okay.
But let's do a little test piece here so I can set my other border. They look pretty good, don't you think?
I think so. It's fun little pyramids. You got it right this time. It's so hard sometimes to remember all like the just going back and forth, and there's a lot of little technical steps.
Yeah.
You know, and I probably would have been guilty of that, of put my wing divider, be like, oh, there's my line, and then suddenly I've got two lines that are right next to each other, and I'm like, well, that's not right.
Okay, here again, we're going to start on this inside line.
On the inside.
Start on the curve. And I know most people will say, well, it's further around the outside of the curve than it is the inside of the curve. And they are right. And I forgot to space this out. Let's go on a different one. Remember, we're live, folks. Where was it? Right there.
Mike says it looks like a Southwest design.
Yeah, it does. It's a pretty neat stamp. I just tried this morning. Looks like I would have remembered, huh?
The morning was several hours ago.
Yeah. All right, now we'll start again, and I will.
I was gonna say this is a really wide one, so
yeah,
you don't have a lot of area between them.
Okay, so I'm gonna space that a little bit apart. Space that a little bit apart. Perfection right there, you guys.
And we are live, Denny.
Boom.
Just remember that. This is perfect.
Denny, do you prefer to space them out instead of having to like shrink them together?
Yeah.
Does it matter?
You've got to round it off. You know, if
Yeah.
you've got a little bit of space, you want to shrink it or you want to stretch it out. If you've got a lot of space, you want to shrink one up so
Okay.
you
Maybe
end
overlap
up
it a
with an
little
extra
bit.
tool stroke instead of one less. All right.
The whole thing was just perfect. I think this piece was meant to be.
It was. It was. There again, I'm just turning this tool upside down and going to the border.
Turn it upside down, give it a good lick.
Give it a good lick. You guys make fun of me.
What else are we supposed
Every
to do?
chance I get. You gave me a lot of grief about my cooking show the last time.
Well, you deserved it, Tony.
Deserve every poke.
Every lick we can give Tony, we do.
They're well earned, I can promise you that.
But this is going around the curve with a big flat stamp. And it's going to work out pretty nice, I think. All right. Now, we aren't going to have a frog here, I don't think. I don't know what we're doing.
Getting ready to find out.
Well, that's kind of a frog-looking thing.
Very pointy frog.
You guys can't see what's going on, can you?
Good eyesight. See.
Let's say we need another screen up here, Tony. We're gonna keep doing this. We need
Put a monitor up out of the front view. Can you slide that up just a little bit, Denny?
Sure.
Thank
You
you.
guys want to see?
How
You know that
are
actually
Jason
like
doing over there?
more of a frog.
Fantastic.
Great, yeah. It's just like you thought it would be. That's really cool looking.
It is.
Sorry. Then you should throw that piece at him when you get done. Or here, you can come around and look at the TV in front and right there by that camera sitting on there.
I was gonna say, yeah, this isn't.
Oh, look at that.
Oh yeah. Here, you can move your stools around if you want to. And
Since you guys came all the way to see us, you can get all of our. You can get all of our.
You can take this one to Wichita with.
Oh, wonderful. Yes, we'll take it.
We'll put Denny's stamp in the middle.
Yeah.
That's actually kind of fun. It's like a little pocket.
Yeah. Kind of a neat little deal.
Can you see
Or
it?
if you,
Oh,
you can, you're good.
But you know you're good.
Oh, okay.
Walk through the camera, it's all right. That way they know that there's actually people here. We're not
We're not
lying.
just making it up.
Yeah.
All right.
We've never. You guys are the first ones to be live in the studio that is not an employee.
Oh, well, that's
This is a privilege thing.
You're guinea pigs. How does it feel?
Hey, look, it's fun. It's fun. I like it.
All right. What do we got now?
Well, it looks like you maybe.
Oh,
I was gonna
I
say
got
you brought in
one.
a barbed wire.
I got one. I've got to show you.
'Kay.
This is not going to be barbed wire. This is going to be chicken wire.
Chicken wire.
Coolest stamp you've ever seen in your life.
What's the difference between barbed wire and chicken wire, Denny?
I'm about to show you.
Okay. Is this like chaps versus shaps?
Yeah, quite a bit. Quite a bit. And this is a stamp that goes out in the field. I made a saddle one time. I called it a chicken wire saddle.
Is that what the person asked for?
Nope. No, it was one of the few saddles I ever made that was just to be making a saddle.
Having fun? Nice.
Okay, I made myself a diagonal line. And here's our little stamp that we're using. It's just a barbed wire stamp.
What's the number on that one?
The number is E686.
Okay.
And I'm just going to go toe to toe on this.
Well, I said not to be confused with number 9 wire.
Okay.
Sounds like it's raining. So
I think it was supposed to.
So we've had Poland,
yeah.
Germany with markets, all over the United States. Now people are wanting to come sit in the studio audience.
From Germany, come ahead. Poland,
Come on, Marcus.
we want them. All right, now I'm going to go above this. Now I'm going to tip my stamp here on this first one.
And you're matching it right up.
I'm just matching it up.
Same thing.
One on top of the other.
We're not alternating anything. It's just stacked.
Right.
I
Okay.
guess you could turn your tool if you wanted to.
You could do it a lot of different ways.
You could turn it all the way around in a circle.
You could do 360, just if you felt like it.
Just turn it to 180. Turn it to 180 if you want to turn your tool.
You guys see what I've got to deal with on a daily basis. I've got to do this.
Oh, that is really cool.
It is cool. It's chicken wire.
Kind of reminds me of like a honeycomb.
Except for honeycombs or hexagons.
I know, but it's like it's a rounded hexagon. Like a circle.
Well, these hexagons look really circle-like.
I really want to put that video right now. If anybody wants to watch a fun hexagon video, guys, look up hexagons are the bestagons and watch that video because it makes my day. I've watched it like 20 times. You guys should watch that later too. Hexagons are the bestagons.
Okay, it piqued my curiosity.
It's a pretty fun video.
Does it have a plot?
Yeah. about how hexagons are the best hexagons. It tells you why.
They're the title.
I should have realized that. Shows my ignorance. All right.
Look at that. No. No. Oh, there we go. Oh, I don't know where we're going.
You would show a permanent.
Oh.
Our studio audience.
I'm sorry. I'm not used to this.
It's like when you read a book.
Guys,
you get
when they hold up the sign that says clap and laugh, be sure and do
We're
that.
gonna work on this.
Where's the sign?
You,
Oh, we got
Tony will put it on a monitor for you.
Okay.
All right.
Do we have a hexagon stamp?
I don't know, but we should. Now I want to see. Look, I have a catalog. I gotta check into that.
All right. Now I'll just use this
So
little.
we're doing a border. What border are you using?
This is N as in no 720.
We have a geometric G526. You want it? It's like a
Oh,
little
yeah.
star guy.
Yeah. I tried to use that.
How'd that go?
That's all I've got to say.
Are bees better at hexagoning than you are?
I think so. I'm about tired of this, are you?
I'm bored.
No, I want to start something different here.
We're gonna do
Let's
something else.
let's do a braided border.
Okay. Oh, that one that I tried to pull out earlier, and you
Yeah.
said no. Okay. So we've got a G878, and he's just this little braid guy. Man, Denny, I feel like we've got tools enough where you could do this all day.
We do.
Brandon Shelton was saying if you could intertwine that chicken wire a little bit more, he said that'd be a really cool design. You could do a lot of cool things with it.
Brayden, you show us what you got. And
Yeah.
send us some pictures.
I want to see it.
He said he's going to come up here. I'm trying to get him to come up here. Or just get him on a live.
Oh, right.
He's the guy that does
Right.
the hat bills.
Yeah. Man, we're really branching out in our video streaming these days, guys. We're getting fancy. We've done the same thing for like a year, so now we have to do something different.
Okay, this little stamp here. Are you with me, Tony?
Oh, I'm with you. I'm going to make everybody else come along with you too.
All right. Okay. This is what this little deal looks like. I already gave you the number on it. No, I didn't. It's a G878. And there's a little slot in the center and a little point on the end. So I'm going to start here with that. Follow my line with that slot in the center and put the point right on the end. Then you just match these up. Just kind of follow your. Let's see here. Trying to see how I can.
Yeah, it's a tight little guy, isn't he?
Yeah, it's a tight little guy. You about got to be behind it to look at it. But you got to make sure you match that point up on your line every time, or you're going to be going in an arc instead of a straight.
That could be a thing.
We had a question, what maul, ounce, and brand are you using?
This is a 15-ounce Ed LeBar. I would suggest a 24-ounce maul to do that stamp with, though.
So we've got
For
a
most.
24-ounce Berry King. I think we have just a 24-ounce maul that's not that fancy,
Yeah,
but it's fine.
a house brand.
Yeah, the house brand. I like that.
Yeah.
Oh, Rusty's gonna steal that. We're gonna have to change all of our marketing, Denny. Call it the house brand.
Denny's already got the weekend on his mind, it sounds like.
All right, here's that little braid. If you wanted to do a border, that would be good for a border. Let's see if we can.
Oh yeah.
Let's see
That's
if
a
we
pretty
can.
cool little, it would make a nice border.
Let's see if we can do a field stamp with it. I'm thinking we can't.
All right. So I know we're doing this stamping video, and you and I, Denny, sat over here at my desk and named some other stamps.
Yeah.
And we're close enough to talk about them. I think they're going to be up this afternoon.
Woo!
Sergey,
Yes.
but I can't pronounce his last name, from Bulgaria. Usually everybody knows him, Sergey N.
Okay, so if you guys are familiar with Sergey, right now I think mostly it's on Etsy. You can buy, he's got some really cool brass stamping tools that you can buy on Etsy. We have brought in a selection of 20.
His top 20 tools. So
top 20.
The way it worked out was, I'm going to come in, but I don't have an SLC shirt
That's
on,
okay. I don't either.
So Sergey is a customer of ours, and Darcy actually.
Yeah.
When he first started, that was who got him in contact and got him put in with everything going on. So he contacted us and he's like, "Hey, my business is taking off, and I want to get more of my stamps to the U.S. 50% of his customers are in the U.S. and he's located in Bulgaria." And the two ladies that work with him are Russian, so they're not close to here. And it takes him like 3, 4, 5 weeks to send tools here. So we're going to bring in his top 20 to start off with. And if you guys have more that you want to see, we will get them here.
Yeah, start emailing us, and like we'll kind of start collecting a list of kind of like the top suggestions that are coming in, and then make some additions.
So he contacted us. He said, "Hey, do you want to be an exclusive partner of ours?" And so we're like, heck yes. Because I've been following him. There's a leather group on Facebook called Leather Worker Patterns or Leather Work Patterns, something along those lines. They talk about him there. Leather Worker forum, leatherworker.net is a forum. They talk about him on there. Like Liz said, he's on Etsy. He also has his own website, but we will get it here and cover the shipping to get him here, and then get him to you at a price that will be close to his, maybe less than his. Not really sure where the pricing lands out. That's not my category. My category is get them on the website.
That's right. So we'll be in there. But yeah, look out for those. We'll try to finish them up today. But if not, definitely check out on Monday. And
the shipping time will definitely be less for us than him.
Yeah, it shouldn't take nearly as long.
Yeah, and I've seen them. I haven't gotten to use them yet. These guys are pretty protective of them, but
They are
really cool. They've got really fine details.
Yeah, they're all brass heads, aren't they?
Yep, they're brass, and then they're connected, I think, with a stainless steel handle on them.
But they're as finely machined as anything I've seen.
Yeah, they're super nice. We're real excited about it.
He's very talented, so.
Anyway,
you guys will get to see them when we get done with the video. I'll show them to you.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, Denny, is there anything else that we could stamp today?
I've done all the damage these folks want
He's
to
done.
see.
He used a lot of tools today.
I did.
Yeah, we went through a lot. So thanks for joining us. We'll be back next Wednesday with something. I don't think that we've settled on what yet, but we'll decide something next week. So we'll see you then. Thanks for joining us. Have a good day.
Bye.